BRICS' plan for 2025 to replace the dollar? As BRICS continues to grow, both the United States and the European Union are becoming increasingly concerned about the latest moves made by this rising alliance. With the 2024 presidential elections approaching in the United States, voters are about to decide between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. However, behind the scenes of electoral politics, there's a bigger issue at play: the future of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. Economist Art Laffer, former White House advisor, has warned about the fragile state of the dollar, suggesting that its use in sanctions and national policies has eroded international confidence, which could destabilize its global leadership. This narrative echoes the actions of the BRICS countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The recent addition of powerhouses like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates makes BRICS an economic force that rivals the West's influence. The group's upcoming summit in Kazan, Russia could be a turning point, laying the foundation for a multi-currency platform that reduces global dependence on the dollar. Brazilian Foreign Minister Mauro Vieira commented that the appeal of BRICS continues to grow and that nearly 30 countries have expressed interest in joining the alliance. This interest reflects a shift in global economic governance, where diverse nations are seeking alternatives to financial systems dominated by the West. China's technological advances in digital currencies and blockchain represent another front in the challenge to the dollar. The book, Cashless: China's Digital Currency Revolution by Richard Turin, describes a future where digital currencies and blockchain technology eliminate the need for traditional banking systems, which could undermine the dollar's influence in global finance. With the rise of digital currencies, stablecoins, and commodity-backed tokens, the infrastructure for a world without dependence on the dollar is already taking shape, and the BRICS payment system could play a key role in this shift. The oil market is a tangible example of the declining influence of the dollar. A JP Morgan report highlighted that a significant portion of global oil transactions are already conducted in currencies other than the dollar. Saudi Arabia's recent openness to trading oil in yuan could transform the global energy market. Similarly, Turkey's interest in BRICS, despite its ties to NATO, reflects a geopolitical readjustment that is reshaping traditional alliances. The European Union, for its part, is facing its own difficulties with expansion and integration. Serbia's recent decision to shift its accession negotiations from the EU to a possible alignment with BRICS highlights this issue. Serbian Deputy Prime Minister Aleksandar Vulin highlighted the economic attractiveness of BRICS and the lack of political conditions imposed for membership, which contrasts with the EU's demands, often perceived as restrictive and difficult to meet. The EU faces several challenges. In the economic sphere, it has been criticized for its slow response to crises and the ineffectiveness of some of its policies. Politically, the EU enlargement process is often seen as opaque and lacking a long-term strategic vision. This reactive approach, rather than solid planning, makes it difficult to integrate new members and address the needs of existing states. Created from agreements after World War II to foster cooperation in Europe, the EU has faced criticism in its evolution, particularly for its democratic deficit and its response to the 2008 financial crisis, which exposed vulnerabilities in its economic framework. Serbia, which has been a candidate for EU membership for years, is moving closer to BRICS, largely due to the group's lack of political conditions compared to the EU and its economic potential. BRICS, which controls significant global resources, offers more favorable and less restrictive conditions. Serbia's tilt towards BRICS also reflects its desire to maintain a stance of military neutrality, avoiding EU expectations like imposing sanctions on Russia. Countries like China and Russia, members of BRICS, support Serbia's potential accession, recognizing its strategic location and geopolitical value in Europe. Although Serbia applied for EU membership in 2009 and has adopted some of the bloc's standards, factors such as the relationship with Kosovo, judicial reforms, and anti-corruption measures have complicated the process. Serbia's foreign policy, with its ties to Russia, has also slowed its progress towards accession. With the BRICS summit on the horizon, the possible creation of a gold-backed trade currency could signal a power shift in the global economic landscape. This move would not only challenge the dollar's hegemony, but could trigger a reassessment of global economic policies and practices. For the United States, the implications would be significant, as a loss of dollar dominance could lead to major economic adjustments, affecting trade balances, investment flows, and national economic policies. In this context, the 2024 US presidential election, the strategic decisions of the BRICS summit, and the EU's current challenges with integration and expansion are interconnected pieces of a complex global puzzle. These events will influence the future economic landscape, affecting everything from currency dynamics to geopolitical alliances. In conclusion, this emerging narrative goes beyond the instability of the dollar or the problems of the EU. It is about a transition to a multipolar economic world characterized by diversified leadership and innovative financial practices. The expansion of BRICS and the weakening influence of the dollar have a profound impact that goes beyond economics, also affecting international politics. The creation of a possible exchange currency backed by gold or a basket of commodities, as has been suggested within BRICS, would not only challenge the dollar as a reserve currency, but could reduce the United States' ability to use its currency as a tool for sanctions and global economic control. This development threatens to redefine the balance of power, giving emerging countries more leeway to act in their own interests without the threat of sanctions. Furthermore, the rise of BRICS is prompting Western nations to rethink their strategy of alliances and diplomacy. The European Union, which has traditionally aligned itself with the United States in its economic and sanctions policies, may be pressured to reconsider its approach in order to avoid being isolated in an increasingly multipolar world. This shift is especially crucial for countries like Germany and France, whose economies are heavily dependent on exports and which could benefit from more flexible relationships with nations outside the West. The BRICS movement also represents an opportunity for emerging economies like Turkey and Saudi Arabia to take a more active role in reshaping the world order. These countries, by seeking alliances with BRICS, are showing a clear interest in reducing their dependence on the West and forging an alternative path that allows them greater economic and political independence. In short, the rise of BRICS raises questions about the viability of the current system and highlights the need for global economic governance that includes and listens to these nations. Are the dollar's days of dominance numbered? Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay informed about global events. Thanks for watching.